our first podcast of 2024.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. And what is going on?
What is going
What
on?
is going on?
Um, it feels really weird to be back, but honestly, I'm pretty excited to be back. I've missed doing
Yeah.
this.
But for those of you who've forgotten, you're Ryan. I'm Anthony. We're
Oh
gonna talk
yeah.
about we're gonna do a podcast.
I guess I should introduce who we are on this podcast
This is how
journey.
rusty we are.
I'm so rusty. It's very rough. Um, yes, I'm Ryan. He's Anthony, and this is Let's Do a Podcast. So, there's that. So if you follow our Facebook, okay, for some reason our video is not popping up if you're trying to watch us. So that's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying that part of this. So you just get to listen to us instead of seeing us because I'm new at this apparently.
Everybody knows that Facebook is best as an audio format.
Truly. um So yeah, so if you follow our Facebook, you've known that if you listen to us or anything, you know that we have not done anything in quite a while. And it is due to my mother, Kathleen, was diagnosed with leukemia. So I pretty much spent the last few months back home helping take care of people and everything. And yeah, this just became a side thing. I got back about 3 weeks ago or so, and yeah, I was like, I'm gonna take a little bit of break, and then we'll get back into this. Um,
She's doing better now.
so
Feeling
yes, so
feeling better than she was.
she'll be going home this week from rehab. Um, and yeah, she's feeling good, doing good. They have a plan in place for her ongoing treatment that she'll have. And yeah, we're gonna plan lots of fun vacations together because
All right, sounds good.
yeah. So with that, I won't harp on that too much. Let's get into Anthony. What's been going on with you since we've been away?
Oh man, the traditional thing with the new year, make a New Year's resolution to lose weight, gain weight, probably because I drank too much beer, uh, but still running, still ran before the end of the year, ran the Dallas half marathon. Then I was gonna run the Fort Worth Cowtown marathon, but then it was gonna be like almost 90 degrees during that.
Ooh.
So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do the half marathon and just hope I finish before it gets too hot. So I did that. And that's basically that. Had some work stuff happen. Still have a job, so that's cool. But yeah, otherwise it's been just a lot of random small stuff happening.
Well, I'm glad that you still have a job.
Yeah.
That's always a plus. Um, let's see. Yeah, besides, I actually got a promotion at work, so that was pretty
Nice.
unexpected. I know I was pretty excited about that. Besides that, let's say well, I guess we should talk about beers that we're drinking.
Yes.
So I would show you all, but I have zero video, so uh, I'll have to just go back to the old school ways and just tell you what I'm drinking. But I'll go ahead and show Anthony. So I am
All right.
drinking the Black is Beautiful Volume 2 from Odd Muse.
Nice.
I flew this home with me because I was just like, I'm gonna take some local beers back home. So
Survived the trip pretty well.
it did. All the packs
Nice.
everything that I brought back survived. So I brought back one bottle of something from Odd Muse, and then a few of these cans.
So you didn't have like a check bag that was just for Texas beers.
No, I did not bring back that many, but I definitely like put them in there. Surrounded by clothes and stuff to make
we
it.
gotta have our priorities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It is definitely beer. Um, but I had this actually whenever we were in town, I think in December, and on tap it was amazing. So I'm looking forward to having it again because I mean it's Odd Muse and Smidox, so it's gonna be delish.
Hmm.
What
I
are you
think I had
drinking?
volume 1. Volume 1 came out a while ago, didn't it?
That came out, was it during the,
I
was
think it
it
was during the pandemic. Yeah.
2020 or 2021, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were all stouts, and those are really good too.
Yeah. Which one was what kind was this one?
This one is a hazy IPA.
Nice. So I am not drinking this, but because I already drink it. But I'm going to talk about it anyways. And then I guess if I don't just prattle on like I am right now, then I maybe talk about what I'm actually drinking. But the beer I got for this episode was Rezombinator. It comes from Beer Zombies Brewing Company out of Las Vegas in collaboration with Movement Brewing out of Rancho Cordova, California. So, you know me, I'm usually staunchly like Texas only beers here.
Hmm.
But I did make a trip to Las Vegas at the end of, at the like right before the end of 2023. And I didn't get a chance to stop at Beer Zombies Brewing because I just spent basically the entire time on the strip. But when I did see this at Total Wine, when make my usual trip for local beers, I saw this on the shelf and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a little taste of Vegas again here. So I got the beer zombies. I got a Rezombinator. It's a Imperial Double IPA. Uh, it is let's see here. It's like a hazy with a like a mouth piney, grapefruity, and dank flavors. I'm trying to find where it says the oh yeah, 8.6 ABV. It was a really good hazy. I really wish I had it again right now, but I did drink them all four of them. They were pretty damn good. In fact, Ryan, did you have one when you were down here? I think maybe you
Um,
tried one.
I think I did. I
Yeah.
can't. I cannot remember what I had, but yes, whatever I had, we'll assume it was that was
Yeah.
delicious.
It was either that one or the Tangerine Triple
I
Stars from
think that's what it was actually.
yeah, from Celestial, which was
Celestial. Yep.
also that was the lot that I drank that on Sunday. I didn't wait. I went and knocked that one out. That was my other one. And yeah, I drank that too. So
It's hard
uh,
not to drink it. Like
they're
it's
so
hard not to drink
good.
Celestial, and
Yeah,
like yeah, whenever a beer is so good, and you're like, how am I supposed to hold on to this? Like it's ridiculous.
exactly. But I am drinking right now. I'm drinking from Community. I'm drinking the uh, Kush Hazy Double IPA.
Mm,
I got the hot box, so I got a couple of those there. So that's what I'm drinking for tonight. But you know, it's a oldie but a goodie,
it
and
is.
just
It
rolling
is
with the
wonderful.
community there.
Yeah, whenever whenever I was down there, of course I had to buy local beers. Like I went to, since we were in Denton, the Bearded Monk, which is like a bottle shop.
Hmm.
Just bought like a random pack of different ones from just different local ones, and then I bought a pack of the Tups series called Rip, which every year they do like Rip 2020, then they did
Hmm.
2021. So I did the Rip 2023, and it was pretty good. That was the first like Rip series that I had from them, but I knew it was gonna be good because it's Tups, like come on.
Yeah, I do think I did the 2020 series
Hmm.
because I was like, yes, God help us get rid of this year.
Yeah, gnarly burp. Sorry if that came through. All right. Let's talk about events and movies and such. So, Anthony, why don't you start us off on what's happening locally?
All right, so like most important thing happening this weekend, it's the Oscars. Duh. It's like Sunday, Oscars. That's what I'm gonna be doing. No, just kidding.
Me taking a
So
nap.
yeah, we do have some pretty big things happening this weekend. We've been talking about Tups and their new facility. They're
Oh yeah.
opening this weekend,
Yep.
March 9th, 2024. They're finally opening up the new location. So Tups, brand new location. It's also on the front page for beerandbigd.com. If you look at the news, they got a lot of details on what they're doing there. But new location grand opening weekend featuring live music, food, trucks, the soft opening of the Tups kitchen, and a bring your own business vendor debut event as well. So they've done this before where they've had like a swap meets or like a vendors come in to sell stuff. I'm really eager to go check this place out. I probably won't make it this weekend, but I'm looking forward to checking out their new facility. It looks really cool, and I'm looking forward to drinking Tups during the summer in air conditioning.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a big plus. Other activities going on. We got a community. Also got an event going on. They got their Plantapalooza vegan carnival and beer fest.
Hmm.
I'm still waiting for the day where they're going to bring back the 3D IPA. I don't know. I
Yeah.
lose hope with every day. Uh,
I know. I want it so badly too.
yeah. But Turning Point on Sunday, they do have their 10th annual North Texas Craft Beer and Chili Challenge with over 15 breweries competing. $10 per person to sample and vote. So you know that's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and let's see. Yeah, a lot of I'll say the biggest event this weekend is Tups. If you're out in McKinney, go check out the new facility there for Tups. It's we've all been waiting for it. It's going to be a big thing. It's going to be really cool. Out on the horizon though, we got the Big Texas Beer Fest on April 6th. About a month from now. It's crazy. It's And then I think it's in the same weekend, or actually on the Monday following that, solar eclipse. A lot of places are having solar eclipse parties as well. So if you're taking a day off, like I am, for the on April 8th, go maybe go join some of your best brews and best buds at at a brewery, and go enjoy the eclipse, and don't stare at the sun unless you have eye protection. So oh, Hops and Props, April 27th. I will be there. I missed it last year, and I was really bummed that I missed it. So I will be there for that. So I could go
Nice.
on, but I will leave it at that. So we have more to talk about later.
Especially with it being Cage Fest, we will probably do more episodes than usual this month because that's what we usually do for it. So yeah, we don't
Yeah.
want to talk too much ahead, but some good stuff coming up. I'm excited about the Tup's new location. I feel like it's been talked about almost every episode. Um and yeah, every time they post about it, it just looks like a really, really cool space.
Yeah.
So
If it turns out half as good as what they had been planning, it's going to be amazing. It's going to probably be one of the best new facilities out there.
yeah, it looks huge too.
Yeah.
So what she said. Um so going on to movies and TV shows that are currently out or that we're looking forward to. So I feel like I don't know, maybe this was advertised more, but I kind of almost feel like it came out of nowhere that all of a sudden Wonka, the new movie Wonka, um, I don't know, maybe I'm just so out of the loop, but I feel like it kind of almost came out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden there was the Wonka experience, what in England I think it was or something like that.
Written by AI. It's
Oh
AI
man,
will not be taking our writing jobs just
yeah.
yet.
I think we're pretty good on AI taking over everything. That
Yeah.
was hilarious. I feel like that popped up, and all of a sudden I just started hearing about the movie more, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Which
much
it's a
out.
musical. Can't forget it's a musical. That I think a lot of people were caught off guard by the fact that it was a musical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be one that whenever I can stream it somewhere, I'll watch it. I'm not gonna go to
Mhm.
the movies for theater for this, you know.
Yeah, I think that one's coming out soonish.
I think it was this. Looks like December.
Yeah, coming
No.
out the stream, I mean.
Oh, to stream. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
I think I saw something about that recently.
Um, so I mean, but it has a 7.1 out of 10, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
wanna get your Timothy Chalamet viewing on before you go see the next movie he's appearing in that had just recently come out in theaters.
What was that?
Dune Part
Oh,
2.
oh yeah. Actually, that's the next one I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I'm blanked. So
We got Chalamet Fest going on here.
yeah. So actually, on the flight home, we both me and my wife watched Dune, the first one, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. It's definitely a long movie, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So Dune Part 2, I am really excited about actually.
Yeah. This one actually has, it's funny because they, like, advertised, Zendaya being a big part of Dune 1, and she was, like, barely in it. So
Yeah.
they're like, "She's actually in this one." So
Yeah. So let's see. Is it already out? 11
I
3.
think it
Oh,
just came out, yeah.
yeah, it came out before December. What? No way.
No, no, the Dune 2 came out, like, this past weekend?
Hold on. That doesn't make any sense. This thing has to be wrong.
Dune 1, I
Um
think, came out, it may have come out in December, but it was like an online release because it came out on HBO Max.
March 1st is the release date. So, yeah, it just came out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I want to see it in movie theaters, but I don't remember the last time I went. Actually, the last time I went to a movie theater was to see Barbie. Um, so I think it's time, but this is a long
Yeah.
one, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But I
On
know
par
I
with
will
that.
have do it.
I was on par with that. My last experience at the theater was going to see Mean Girls, the musical.
Mm,
Yeah. So,
yeah. So this will probably be a streaming one, mainly just because of how long it is. It's almost 3 hours. So yeah, I'll probably watch that at home. But I'm really looking forward to it. It has a 9 out of 10, which is
yeah.
insane.
But Ryan, if you go see it just at home, how are you going to get the full experience without access to the Dune popcorn bucket?
I think I mean I have a version at home. I think I'll be fine.
It's like, who doesn't want to reach into a popcorn bucket and have it like the feelers just touch their hand and like make it rip all the popcorn out of your hands as you're pulling it out? That's just the creepiest looking. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen it. It
it's the
looks
creepiest looking thing. I don't know who thought of this thing.
yeah, so if y'all don't know what we're talking about, make sure to look up Dune popcorn bucket and it'll pop right up and you'll be like, "Oh my."
Yeah,
So, yeah, it looks pretty wild.
I mean, it's a mission accomplished. I think for whoever developed it because they want you to talk about it. They want you to talk about the movie. So of course,
They want everybody to buy it,
yeah,
and that's the way to
I'm
do it.
I look forward to everybody else's more ridiculous popcorn buckets in the future. So.
Right. All right, next one is Madame Web.
I don't know anybody who saw this.
I don't know anybody who saw this either.
It's a future let's do a podcast movie.
I had such high hopes because it looked like the trailer, just like I feel like most Marvel trailers, you're like, okay, this could be really good. But it has a 3.7 out of 10. And
Yeah.
I've just heard awful things about this. But again, I don't know. I feel like sometimes superhero movies surrounded mainly about women tend to get bad reviews.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not writing it off till I see it. Is how
I
I feel.
I think this one falls into the same I don't think it's necessarily I mean that's people are going to hate on it because of that. So
Yeah,
that's part of the issue. But I think the other part is that Sony is trying to make Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man in them.
yeah, which is not gonna work well. So
Yeah.
I'm interested. We'll watch it probably whenever it comes out to stream. I bet we'll watch it and do it for an episode. Um, because I don't know. It's still like the trailer's playing right now in the background. I'm still like, I could see me getting behind this, but granted, I can't hear it, so the dialogue could be just terrible.
It is pretty terrible.
It is.
I think one of the big things, spoilers, but one of the things they've advertised is that it's like the Spider Woman in there,
Hmm.
and that's like your daily dose of your dose of Spider Man esque people, and it's a total bait and switch. Sony has this thing where they put in their in these Spider Man adjacent movies, in the trailer they tend to put like the last scene of the movie in there. And that's one of those things that's like in the last scene, you get like maybe 90 seconds max of like Spider Woman in the movie. And so they put it front and center, and then that's not they never actually turn
It's not
into
what
like the
that
Spider
is.
Woman in the movie. Yeah. It's like it's just a
So
vision of the future. So
great. So that'll be fun.
yeah.
It's like those Nicolas Cage movies where they advertise he's in it, but then he's in it like for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like what
And
was
then he
that?
dies. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what movie that was, but we are like, There he is, and then it's like, and he's dead. Cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. This one where he was like in the Crusades.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna go in thinking this is the best movie in the world, but I'm still gonna be like, I'll give it a shot.
yeah.
Last one we're gonna talk about before we get into our actual movie is Bob Marley One Love. Uh, this is currently number 2 on the box office, so I felt like it had to be touched on. I'm again, this is one I think I'll stream to watch. Um, it takes a lot for me to go to the movies, I guess, these days, which is
Hmm.
kind of sad. But um, I don't know. It has a 6.5 out of 10, so it's pretty much like half. It's just like okay, so
Yeah.
people liked it, people didn't like it. I don't know. I'm interested just because, like, listen, I'm a huge Bob Marley. I love Bob Marley. Like, I grew up listening to his stuff all the time. So just being able to watch, of course, the exaggerated story of his life, I'm like, yeah, sure. Uh, but you can also tell it's going to be super cheesy and corny, which
I got
sometimes that puts you off. But
Yeah, I got some hopes for this one. It stars Kingsley Ben-Adir
hmm
as the titular Bob Marley, who, if you remember, he was one of the Kens.
yeah,
He was best friends with Ryan Gosling Ken in Barbie,
yeah,
and he was also I don't know if you got a chance to see uh, uh, is that was it Secret War? Well, damn, I'm blanking on what it was. What it was one of the more recent Marvel TV series where it followed. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the show.
the
Uh,
Secret Invasion.
Secret
No,
Invasion.
okay,
He was the bad guy in Secret Invasion, where he was,
yeah, I haven't seen that.
despite the poor plotting of that show, he actually was pretty good for the most part in that as well. So he can act circles around most people.
Oh,
He's really good.
yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Uh, and I mean, yeah, acting wise, I have no hesitations. I think it's just like the corniness of the
Yeah.
movies that come. I mean, not just because it's Marley, but movies that are done like this. Sometimes they're just overly corny, where it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, you don't need to be that terror like that hard to watch kind of thing. So again, I'll watch it. I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
they did that with the Freddie Mercury one a couple years ago too,
Yeah,
and, while that one did win a few Oscars, I didn't really feel like it should have. My opinion, I'm no I'm no movie aficionado. I don't watch It's
yeah,
not like I watch good movies all the time, but
right, yeah. We're the
but
right critics for it.
yeah, it's not necessarily my general, the kind of stuff I watch most of the time, but, I
I
felt
mean,
that
I
felt in that
agree.
category. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree that, like, was it a good movie? Yes, it was a good movie, but, like, that's as far as it goes for me with that movie.
yeah.
Uh, to me, the biggest plus that came out of that movie is, like, I feel like that's where we kind of
It looks like we lost Ryan there for a second. We'll see if he can hop back in there. So yeah, I think he was saying was that he with that movie there is I'm thinking what he was talking about is when the actor from that Freddie Mercury movie. Oh man, I'm really blinking on what that movie was called. Queen movie. I'm just gonna Google it here. Or he's gonna edit out most of this. I'm willing to bet. Uh, Not the Queen Mary, Bohemian Rhapsody. But Bohemian Rhapsody starred uh, Remy Malik. Remy Malik. He's been in such great movies. like Night at the Museum Part Two. But this was like the first like big movie I think that he had big role he had. So uh, it's yeah, it was just really received really well, and I think he just couldn't have could have been received by a much better actor. The accolades there. All right, we're gonna pause for just a few seconds while we see if we can get Ryan back. Hold on 1 second.
Hello.
You're back. I'm like, I don't know what I do.
I don't know. Okay, so I'll just cut all of that part out.
I was like, I hope he cuts this out because this is me just trying to figure out what you were saying before you dropped out. I was like, was he talking about Remy Malik?
Oh, and it just like restarted the streams too. Hey, so everybody that rewatched this on stream, I totally lost internet somehow, so we're back. Actually, I got really pissed off with what Anthony was saying, and I fucking bolted. I was like, I'm done.
It's like I'm out of here.
That's right. I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, Bob Marley, or just like those movies. So pretty much just like I don't expect these kind of movies to make like huge splashes, like change my life kind of movie. Um, they're just entertainment telling a story kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, uh, my gosh. So I
We
think
should talk about the movie before we lose internet.
right
Before we
this is
lose
like
internet
I
again.
don't think there's anything else that we have to go through. So I say we just jump onto this movie.
Let's do it.
So to start off Cage Fest, we of course have to talk about Renfield. I feel like we're starting off with a banger. We'll do some bad ones and then maybe do another banger if there's another one.
Yeah.
If there's another one.
Yeah.
Um
Spoiler alert.
ooh,
Spoiler alert.
yeah.
Spoiler.
Were you gonna say something else?
No, I was just trying to say spoiler alert, and I was not being
Okay.
successful.
I wasn't sure if there's more after that. So Anthony, do the quick synopsis of Renfield and then we'll get chatting about it.
All right, let me pull it up because I was trying to figure out the name of the movie that was about Queen.
Oh,
So
um,
uh,
so while we wait for him to do that, if you guys have any suggestions of Nicolas Cage films, obviously we have tons that we will watch already. Don't necessarily need them, but if there's one you're like, hey, there's a Nicolas Cage movie I really want y'all to watch, let us know and we'll put it and watch it this Cage Fest.
yeah, let's be honest. The man's a machine. We will never keep up with this guy.
Also, did you hear that his son? I'm trying to find it, but he's in a band apparently.
Oh, Nicolas Cage's son or Nicolas Cage himself,
Well, both,
or
but
is Nicolas Cage in his son's band, which would be
oh,
pretty dope.
that would be really dope. But Nicolas Cage's son has a band. I'm trying to figure out if we can play some of his music because I thought it'd be fun to play for Cage Fest. So,
All right. Oh, there we go. My internet dropped out for a second, or at least IMDb like gave up on me. So
ooh, nice. We're
yeah,
having great. This is like a great first comeback.
it's like a smooth running like a well-oiled machine, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's like we never
Um,
left.
so all right, we set the tone here. Woo, spookiness. Woo. So in this modern tale of Dracula's loyal servant, Renfield, the tortured aide to history's most narcissistic boss, is forced to procure his master's prey and do his every bidding, no matter how debased. But now, after centuries of servitude, Renfield is ready to see if there's a life outside the shadow of the Prince of Darkness. If only he can figure out how to end his codependency. It's for once we have an accurate
Yeah. I was
synopsis.
I was gonna say that is actually really good.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that
that
one.
nails it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because this movie is not your traditional Dracula vampire story, but it's a
Yeah.
story about codependency and about uh, they really hit on it really well in the trailers for this movie too. You go in there and you know this is kind of it's almost like hitting on what's that movie Terrible Bosses that came
Mhm.
out. It's kind of like
Mhm.
got that relationship there where it's like it's less uh it's less the master and the follower, or the master and the familiar, that
Right.
you see in, like, the kind of relationship you see in, What We Do in the Shadows. I mean, it's still that to an extent, but it's a more Dracula's more posed as they put in here, and more as a boss, just like a really demanding, really awful boss. Um, the movie starts in like a very traditional Dracula-esque way, very
Mhm.
vampire movie way, and then it just kind of goes from there as these and it following this thesis of the just the toxic relationship, and just like kind of pulls that thread. It's really interesting because it gives you like a whole new light to the dynamic there.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And like it's I do like that on top of being just a Nicolas Cage movie, it did do a very good job of there's a point to the movie. So
Yeah,
it's fun, it's silly, it's scary, and it's just like, yeah, the whole like codependency thing was just like, okay. So like they're trying to hit everything and they did pretty decent job. Um there are some amazing actors in this movie too. I
I
mean,
was so surprised to see the
they
actors that were in this movie.
yeah, they packed it. So of course Nicholas Holt for Renfield, Nicholas Cage,
Yeah, our future Lex Luthor, Nicholas Holt.
Steve Holt. I always think that from Arrested Development. Ben Schwartz, which of course we all know him from Parks and Rec.
hmm John
Um,
Ralphio.
hmm I always say her name wrong, but who Rebecca was?
Oh, Aquafina.
Aquafina. It's a yeah. Um, let's see
And
what.
I always mispronounce her name, but Shora Agdashlu.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably butchered that, but she's one of my favorite actresses from The Expanse.
Yeah,
Such a distinctive voice. You hear her voice, you know it's her.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's really really good.
I was happy to see her in there too.
Adrian Martinez.
hmm
Oh, he's not on here, but the guy he's in Ghosts as well. If you watch that show,
hmm
he's the one the arrow in his neck. I can't remember his freaking name. Oh no, Pete from there. He's not on this list. What the heck? But anyways, like
Oh, he was
really,
the host of wasn't he the lead for the group?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, honestly, the list can go on and on. Like
yeah.
there's so many good people, even ones that just like make pretty much appearances, kind of thing. But it has it's won 2 awards and 10 nominations, which is really, really good. I mean, Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage has to be happy about that. Um, and it has a 6.4 out of 10, which I'm surprised it's a 6.4. I actually thought it would have been a little bit higher. But anyways, talking about the movie, it's wild. I know I feel like I say that a lot about these movies, but again, I feel like watching it, you realize, oh, this isn't the type of Dracula movie that I'm going to expect, because it's not really about Dracula. It's more of the familia and his journey and his life kind of thing, and I think it's a blast. I
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was fun.
I watched it, well, sort of watched it for a second time today. I tried to do a refresher. I watched the beginning, I fell asleep for the middle, and then I watched the end. Nothing except for I just woke up really early. So not because it's boring, just so that's clear. But Nicolas Cage. So I mean, of course we always have to make sure we talk about Nicolas Cage for the Cage Fest. He This is another one where I feel like he won me over because the people that
Hmm.
listen to our podcast know I'm personally not a huge fan of Nicolas Cage. Um, we do Cage Fest for one. Anthony loves him, and two, he has so many fucking movies out here that it's impossible not to give him a whole month worth of movie content from us. This is another one I do feel like he won me over. For one, I feel
Yeah.
like he didn't overdo it. I feel like he gave the perfect amount that he needed to, where he wasn't. He's like the so what was it? Renfield is the star of this movie. Nicolas Cage, I feel like, is the co-host in a sense.
Yeah. He definitely is a support. Nick Cage is
Support.
definitely
There
a
we go.
supporting actor in this movie. Yeah.
Which I feel like for actors and their ranges, it's pretty, that's switched, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like he did great of making sure that uh uh uh, uh like this whole could shine in this movie.
Right.
So and I would assume based off of how the movie felt and how they played off of each other, I would assume they probably had fun doing it too. I mean, for
Oh
one,
yeah.
how can you not have fun with both of them? Honestly, anybody that was in this movie, it's probably fun. But
Yeah, I saw when I first saw this movie, I saw this at a sneak preview. I got a sneak preview of this movie before it was released out wide. And one of the cool things about once the movie ended, they had a live interview with Nick Cage, and they were asking about the movie. Alamo Theaters does this every now and then. It's really great. But they interviewed him after they showed the movie, and they were asking about that. And like, he's really big into the lore of vampires, and he's got like a really, it's really cool because he's got a really big respect for Bela Lugosi, and like he's like, this is supposed to be sort of like a sequel in his mind, a sequel to because this was made by Universal Studios as well, who owns the rights to Dracula, to the Mummy, to
mhm,
Frankenstein. And so this is kind of not just not specifically, but this is kind of put down as like a sequel to the original Dracula movies that came out in like the 30s with featuring Bela Lugosi. And so this is supposed to be a continuation of Bela Lugosi's Dracula from those movies. So it's seen as like a if not a spiritual sequel, in some ways a literal sequel to those movies, and a continuation into the present day from like from the early silver screen era. And so it's really interesting to kind of see that because they do show that like early. They did recreate in the very beginning. They recreated shots from the original Bela Lugosi Dracula with
mhm,
Nicholas Hoult and Nick Cage, and then kind of use that as a flow into the present day state of things
right.
with Dracula and Renfield. And it's really interesting how they kind of how as someone who's a fan of Bela Lugosi's work, both good and bad, how Nick Cage really worked on kind of like encapsulating all of those mannerisms that were that were part of the character that Bela Lugosi really brought to life onto the screen from the original books. So
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't the feel like I like vampires. I like this stuff, but it's not something I would say that I'm very into.
mhm.
But I feel like I don't necessarily know good acting, but I definitely know bad acting. And this was a solid one from Nicolas Cage, and I'm very pleased with it. I mean, granted, I willingly watched it a second time,
Yeah.
um, which there's only one other Nicolas Cage movie I've watched more than once, and it's Willy's Wonderland. So
Which I just recently watched that movie again too. So
That's on my list to rewatch,
yeah,
which would be the third time. I mean, I love that movie. It's so good.
it held
Um,
up. It held up.
so I feel like that's what Nicolas Cage has to work with for me. So I hold him at high expectations because I've seen him at well, some of his worst, and he can be just terrible, just terrible. Or he can be amazing. So you never know with what you're gonna get.
We are currently. I do feel we are in the currently. I think we have thought this in the past, but I think we are currently in the golden age, the golden cage age.
Yeah.
Personally,
I
yeah,
mean, the stuff that he's released lately, I've been a fan of,
yeah,
and it's just like, okay, one, either he's actually starting to wear on me after these many years of watching him, or he's actually, I just feel like he's hit the spot where he's just like, I don't have to do shit and I still make good stuff right
yeah,
now. Like, because I feel like there is that level of just all of a sudden he kind of figures that sweet spot. I feel like, yeah, he's there. And
yeah.
he's made good stuff in the past. I mean, obviously, we've seen some of it. We'll probably watch more of it, of older stuff where I like it. But um, so let's move into the likes and dislikes, unless there's something else that you want to hit on about this.
Uh, no, let's get into it.
So let's start off with the dislikes. I like to end on a happy note. So I would probably say my dislike is, and this is just like my personal thing, is I feel like an hour and a half was a little too long for this movie. Um, I feel like there's a lot of things that could have been cut out that I'm just like, the movie still would have been just as great without it. Um, I mean, I don't know. I just, even the first time I watched it, I remember thinking this just felt long at a certain part. And again, I think it's that area of like, you need the story, but what's too much story, you know?
Yeah,
And so for me personally, I feel like it not too much, but I'm just like, you could have cut it down to like an hour 15 probably. And I think that would have been the perfect sweet spot for me. Um, and again, like, I personally feel like that's such a little thing for this movie because that's only like that's barely any time when you really think about it.
yeah,
Um, but I was trying to think about that whenever I was watching it again today and afterwards. It was just like, what's something I actually dislike? And I think it's just kind of that, just the little story parts. I'm like, you could cut probably out all this filler that's not necessary, that could have made it a little bit lower on time. But again, it's a little thing. So what about you, Anthony?
yeah. I have to. I think I have to agree with you on that. I think that there's some stuff that they could have cut the fat on. I think they overextended into that. Now, I mean, it was the main thrust of that movie, but a lot of the stuff where they were, I think there was a little bit of a, not quite a montage, but kind of like focusing on him, kind of like becoming his own independent person, and it showed him like buying new clothes for himself and all this other stuff.
Hmm.
And that they could have cut down on, because like we kind of get the idea after a while, where we see him attending like the support group, in some scenes there. And so I think they could have cut down a lot on some of that. And I feel like they could have really tightened up the story with the Lobos and Dracula as well. Because I feel like that didn't quite make 100% sense. And again, I love Shora Agdashlu and Ben
Oh yeah.
Schwartz. They did really great in this movie. And the story was good. I feel like just, again, things could have just tightened up a little bit on that section of the story there, particularly going into the ending. I feel like they set all this up, and then it just everything kind of just got pushed off to the side, and to make room for the main part of the story that we really cared about, because we don't. Yes, like the thing with the Lobos and Rebecca is important, but honestly, what we're there to see is the interplay between Nicholas Holt's Renfield and Nick Cage's Dracula. And so the the Lobos and the Lobos getting like the bugs and all that stuff. It really kind of puts Nicholas Holt's Renfield on like a an equal playing field with like Ben Schwartz, which how would you have called like a fight scene with Ben Schwartz and Nicholas Holt as like one of the things in the movie,
Definitely not.
or a fight scene with Ben Schwartz? Period.
Just in
Yeah.
general, absolutely not.
It's
But
like
man, it was great.
Ben Schwartz for Wolverine. Am I right?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that'd be so
Yeah.
wild.
That
That'd be
he's
great
way too
though.
tall for that. He's way too tall for that.
I would still watch it. I would,
Yeah.
especially if they threw in like little references of like Parks and Rec still too, like it's a
But
comedy Wolverine. Like
yeah, it's like Ben Schwartz. He was great in this movie because he's got this energy about him. And so I would keep him, and I would have like maybe gotten rid. And again, it pains me to say it, but I would have gotten rid of the character, his mom, Shora Agdashloo. As much as I love her, we could have done with just him and have him be like the head of his little criminal empire instead of being just like a little shit the entire time. Which
Yeah.
again, Ben Schwartz does really well. He plays a little shit really well.
he does.
Yeah. All that kind of just served as like a B plot, maybe even C plot at some points, to kind of get us and give Aquafina's character some stuff to do because we have the A plot of like Renfield and Dracula, and we have the B plot of Aquafina's Rebecca and the police department and the Lobos. And how that all plays in like the modern day thing. But honestly, what it all boils down to the whole fight between Renfield and Dracula at the end, anyways, and basically Renfield breaking free of Dracula's influence. And so I feel like we kind of simplified that story a little bit. It was already pretty simple, but I feel like we could have just kind of gotten some of the clutter out of the way. And yeah, I agree. It's kind of just like let's break this down. We probably could have done this. It was like what the movie was 90 minutes long. We probably could have gotten it down to like 75 minutes, as much as it pains me to say.
Yeah.
Um,
And again, I feel like for both of us, it's not like it's almost picking at like almost nothing in this sense
Yeah.
too. Like it's such a little thing because I feel like you can already tell the direction we're headed with this movie. But so let's
Yeah.
move on to the things that we like. And again, I mean, I know I kind of touched on it, but I really, really liked Nicholas Hoult in this. I thought he was absolutely the most perfect person to play that role. Nicholas and Nicholas did amazing together. It was fun. It was goofy. It was serious. I had a blast watching just him, the roles that he's played in. I've loved so far, and it's not necessarily a character that I always enjoy. So like in this, and then Warm Bodies, he's in, and I ended up really loving that too. And it's just like the things that he's in. Usually those types of characters, I mean, not that I hate them, but it's just like I usually just don't care necessarily.
Which is like his guy in The Menu. The guy
Yeah,
he plays in The Menu. It's like
oh,
he
yeah,
was terrible. He was terrible.
he was a terrible person,
Yeah.
but it's just like I don't know, his acting I get into, and
Yeah.
I really like I enjoy his acting, which I don't remember the last time I said that about an actor. Honestly, like for me, is just like it's so rare for me to be like the actor themselves. I think are great actors. So far, I think everything that I've seen him in, I think he does an amazing job. So
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm really excited when I saw that he was cast in the new Superman movie as Lex Luthor. I was like, it's like as much as I'd like to see somebody more akin to like the Superman animated series where you have like
right,
your guy who's kind of like more built.
hmm
I'm like I'm curious to see how he does with this.
it'll be
Yeah,
really interesting.
yeah,
So yeah, so I would say that's probably my most liked thing about this movie, which I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. Just the mixture of the comedy, the seriousness, the horror, the funny, just like I felt like it was such a good balanced movie. But yeah, I feel like just him as an actor just really stuck out in this movie for me. So,
hmm
what about you?
So one of the interesting things that I really kind of liked is the and you can love it or hate it, but I really liked how they kind of showed how so Renfield in the in the original stories, he's just like a normal dude who's like enthralled to Dracula, like very similar to like Guillermo in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
He's just like a normal dude who's just like serving Dracula as like as his familiar. But they did it. They did this thing where he one of the things in the book is that he like eats because he's like in an insane asylum when we get find him at the towards the end of the story, and he like eats bugs. We
Mm,
so they kind of took that little story element where he's like a guy who eats bugs in an insane asylum, and they used it to show like he gets superpowers when he eats these bugs that he keeps in a box. And it basically gave him super strength, and he was able to fight off all these like these gangs. These gangs of guys, the Lobos, in all these different areas, and save Aquafina Rebecca's life, and kind of ties into that, uses it to tie into that crime story. There was some of the there, so that whole thing there, that whole mechanic there, where they put in with the bugs, and honestly, the fight scenes were really well choreographed, I think, as well. They did some really good wire work in this movie. Some of some of the fights in the beginning were really cool too, where you have these guys who just come just like one by one. I think in a couple scenes they just come out and they're like they're like shown as like these really tough guys who like mercenaries that are sent to just take people out, and he just like demolishes them and and again, I'm just it's a bunch of small things in this movie that I really liked. They don't shy away from the gore. It's not super gory, but it's gory enough for like a is this a PG-13 or R-rated movie? I
R.
can't.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
R?
R.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it earned it a little bit.
It
So
reminds you a little bit of a Tarantino type movie.
yeah. So yeah, not quite to the level of body horror, but some body horror.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really well done. Not to the level of gross out, depending on how strong your stomach is, but I feel like it was enough to show like visceralness of that. And any story with Dracula is gonna deal with some visceralness because you have all this. I mean, this it all revolves around blood at the end of the day, right? So,
Yep.
but yeah, that's
I
what I really enjoyed.
am with you on that.
Yeah.
All right. So we are on Letterbox, which is a movie rating platform pretty much. So you can go on there, let's do a podcast. You can see everything that we've watched. And since we joined, we've actually started rating everything. So, Anthony, how would you rate Renfield?
This is out of 5, right?
5. And you
Yeah.
can do halves. Halvesies.
I give this one a 4 personally.
I feel like that's a pretty good rating. So I'll
Yeah.
go with that as well. Um, so there's an option to like the movie. I feel like we have to figure out what defines a movie as we like it.
Oh,
Because it's
I thought it
like,
was just a gut from a gut feeling. I like this movie.
okay, I mean that's fine
Yeah.
too. Of like,
Yeah.
cool, we liked it. So let's
Yeah.
do a podcast. We liked this movie. We
We
gave it
do
a
like this
4.
movie. Yeah.
Uh Again, I feel like there's barely any real complaints about this movie. Uh Go watch it.
Yeah,
I
it's like it can't be like it's a 2. I don't like this movie. There's some movies that I would give a 2 that I still liked.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um I think it's on Amazon Prime.
hmm I think so. I
Sorry.
should know. I
My
saw this recently.
lights, I can't tell if you can tell, but my light is flickering very hard right now and it's driving me nuts all of a sudden.
Ooh.
Um I had all the tech issues today. So um it's so hard to focus now. So yes, there we go.
It's
For
just like a really fast rave going on.
yeah, it is on Amazon Prime because that's where I watched it today. Go give it a shot if you have the streaming service. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows how long it'll be on there for. So let's go on to how much beer do you have left, actually?
I've got this much left.
Okay,
So
so we'll talk
just a
about
sip.
our thing of the week, and then we will talk about our beers. So I feel like since it's been like what 3 months since we've recorded, I have a lot of things of the week, which is great because we have a lot of episodes we need to do.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about my most current, I guess, obsession, which is I bought a new game for the Switch. Well, new for me, but it's Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I've gone back and forth because I'm like, I mean, I used to love Zelda. I think just like the worry of like they remade a game kind of thing, you know.
Uh,
Um, it's so good. I've put so many hours into it, and it's I don't even know what to say about it except for it's one I think you could just spend almost. I feel like I could spend the rest of my life playing this game, and there'd just be new things happening.
yeah, I've seen from what I've seen, it's pretty. It seems pretty expansive and gives you a lot of flexibility in how you can approach things.
Yeah, it's very much a giant map. You can go do what you want. You can follow the main story. You can do side quests. You can just run around and do whatever you want. Um, I'm really enjoying it, but I'm trying to get through the main story so I could do the side quests and then get the newest Zelda that came out because I they said from what I read pretty much same feeling, but just obviously a newer, different game. So um, it had mean, it has a 10 out of 10 on IGN, and I mean, it's very highly rated. So I decided to pull the trigger and get it because I mean, it came out in 2017 and it still was like $60. So I was like, ugh,
That's Nintendo games for you. I feel like you can
yeah,
go try to buy Super Mario Galaxy. It's still gonna be full price.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
struggled, but I was like, you know what? Especially whenever I was back in Texas, I was like, I took my Switch and I was like, I need something to play that's like not Super Smash Bros. That's just like an actual, like, it can be a chill game.
yeah.
And I feel like this was perfect, and I've been playing it also pretty much every day since I've gotten back home. So, you have a Switch, I would definitely suggest that game, especially if you grew up playing the original Zeldas, then you'll love it too. So,
Yeah, it's like I think I last Zelda game I played was Twilight Princess. I played the hell out of like when I was a kid, I played the hell out of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Those were like my main games growing up on the Nintendo 64.
oh yeah,
Uh, yeah, I never got through Twilight Princess, and I haven't played Zelda since then because I've not had a Nintendo platform to play on. So
yeah. I think Mask was the last one that I played,
yeah,
and yeah, kind of same thing of like I've had the Switch. I was kind of just waiting for the price go down, to then I realized it's been many years later and it's not going
it's not
down.
going down. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna buy it and hopefully I don't regret it. But
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad
think
I did. Brings back
I
a lot
think
of
the
memories.
closest I got to getting a Switch was during the pandemic when you couldn't buy one, so I never got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I really wanted to play Animal Crossing.
It's still on my list of games I want
Yeah,
to play. Again, it's still so fucking expensive. So it's just like
yeah,
I can only afford I feel like with the Switch, if I buy a game, I actually have to go through and play the whole thing so I actually spent my money. Versus like,
yeah.
I have this PC. I buy games whenever they're on sale for like $3 and then I never
Right.
play it. But so yeah, I would recommend it to anybody. So Anthony, what do you got your thing of the week?
All right. So I can't talk about a game, but I'm gonna wait until I play it for a little bit longer because I've been trying to figure out how to play it, and I'm not good at some of these newer games. So instead, I'm going to talk about my thing. I've been one of my New Year's resolutions that I've actually been pretty consistent on, and it's all about learning a new language.
Ooh,
I've got a 52-day streak on Duolingo. Thank you
nice.
very much.
Nice.
I'm going to Mexico in April, and I want to be able to speak some Spanish. I did take 4 years of Spanish in high school, but I don't like. I barely know anything. So I've been working on my Spanish language stuff there. I've started listening to like a Spanish language podcast that's supposed to help you learn Spanish so I can get used to
Ooh.
the conversational pattern because that's probably the thing I'm worst at.
I need you to text me what that is because yeah. People assume because my wife was a Spanish teacher that I know Spanish and I do not.
Nah,
So
it's like reading it is one thing, and it's like and listening is a whole other thing because so much stuff. It's just like when somebody who doesn't speak English listens to English, everything gets smashed together because you just say stuff so quickly. Did you what happened there?
It started flickering, and I was just like, "Oh, I wonder what'll happen if I turn off the light." But then it
It
was
just
like
gets
I was
really
sitting in the
dark.
dark. So
Yeah. Yeah, so everything gets smashed together, and so you get these listening challenges on Duolingo, and it's like I'm like, this is what I heard. I don't listen to. It's like I don't need to listen to them saying everything just really slowly, and then I miss like 2 or 3 words. So I'm trying to get better at it, and trying to develop the ear for the language. I can pick out. I've gotten to where I can pick out a few words here and there and get the general gist of what people are saying. I actually was in the gym and I felt bad. I heard them speaking Spanish. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna eavesdrop and see if I can understand what they're saying.
yeah,
And
that's the way to do it.
I kind of understood, but not really. And so it's something I'm working on. Develop. I feel like if I'm like able to just do some basic stuff to show respect for the culture when I go to Mexico in April, I'll feel great. But I'm planning on continuing. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Planning on continuing to learn that so I can eventually check the box multilingual on my skills list there. So that's what I'm hoping for there. So Duolingo, 52 days, I think is what I said. Streak. That's my thing of the week. Is
Nice,
learning a new language. So
nice. We're so before the all the stuff happened with well, I guess it was during with the stuff with all my mom, but me and Hannah sat down and were like, oh, you know, what do we want from this next year? We both agreed that we want to learn sign language uh this year. So I think now that we're home and things seem to kind of go back to normal, we need to figure that out. But I also want to learn Spanish because that could be very helpful and everywhere.
mhm.
Plus, I like, I like to learn languages. But I felt that way whenever we went to Iceland too. I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn like basic Icelandic. Dude, that is so hard.
Yeah.
Icelandic is insane. So that went down the drain. I couldn't even say like thank you or hello. Like it was too much to remember, but luckily everybody was super nice. But I was like, next time we
Yeah.
go, I'm gonna prepare enough and learn it.
It's the fortunate thing in a lot of these countries, they also speak English, at least basic English there too. So I was like, "Thank you," and they're like, "You're welcome," and
Yeah.
that's about it. So,
Yeah. All right. Anthony, let's rate our beers. So to remind everybody, I had the Black is Beautiful Volume 2 Hazy IPA 7% from Odd Muse and Smedux Brewing in the DFW. Um, Definitely was better on tap. Of course, it's been about 3 months since I've had it, so it's been in a can that long. So you never know. Um, it's still really, really good. I think whenever I had it on tap, it was probably a 5. I'd probably just drop it to like a 4.5 for me through this can. Again, I don't think it's anything to do with the beer, just how long it's sat in the can. Plus, it traveled, and yeah, I don't know what happens.
yeah.
But so I'm gonna say a solid 4.5 though.
Okay. So Rezombinator, which I was not drinking today, I have rated it in the past as a 4. It was really good when I had it. What I was drinking today, Kush Hazy Double IPA. It's sort of like a solid 3.75, 3 and 3/4. It's pretty good. It's your standard double hazy double IPA from Community. I think it's better from the tap if you go to the
Hmm.
tap room there at Community in my opinion. Also, another note, it wasn't on anything in particular in any of the beer news, but they've started re-releasing the colors, the Hop Unity colored series
Huh.
from the top again. So uh, all those cans that I saved from like the past year and a half, that I didn't need to save those.
Doesn't
So
even matter.
yeah, it doesn't even matter. But I still have cans with the old art on it. So hey,
There you go.
maybe
You have
that's
the
the thing.
original art.
Yeah, they didn't use the same art for the purple, which is disappointing to me because I don't have the full series of the same art.
Huh.
They changed it for purple, and now it's like Roy G. B blue, and then purple is different and it's slightly irritating. Anyways, that's
That
my
is weird.
small tirade on Hop Unity. They're re-releasing them, so go check that out if you missed it on the first pass.
There you go. Um, and so me and Anthony will be chatting about how many episodes of Cage Fest we want to do this month, and I'll try to actually update everybody on the Facebooks. I will also figure out why y'all cannot see our video. I don't know, you know, just classic first day back on the job stuff. But till then, you can follow us on Facebook at Let's Do a Podcast, YouTube, Let's Do a Podcast 22. Wait, did I say YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah. On Twitch at Let's Twitch a Pod.
Yep, Let's Twitch a Pod. Letterbox, Let's Do a Podcast. And pretty much anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find us, hopefully. And again, if you have beers that you want us to try, or Nicolas Cage movies, or even movies outside of Nicolas Cage that you want us to watch, let us know. We will definitely watch them. But if we don't hear anything, we'll keep doing
Summer
what we're doing.
is coming. I forget. Do we have any like theme months that we usually do during the summer months?
So I know we have back to school
That's September.
in September, but I feel
Yeah.
like we need to do a movie around like summer camps. I think our summer period needs to be summer camp movies or
Yeah.
something like that.
Maybe another beachy movie like we had with those with that weird movie where the sand was eating people.
Oh yeah, that was wild. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Wasn't that like a Tubi only or YouTube movie or something like that? It was like an
was
exclusive movie.
Yeah, it was a 2B exclusive, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for sticking around through this train wreck of a first episode. But you know what? That's us. It's always a train wreck if we take any break, even if it's like a week.
Yeah.
But
nothing but the best for Cage Fest,
right.
guys.
Top quality right here. So thank you everybody for hanging out, listening, and all that stuff. And let's end a podcast.